Kaliningrad, the city we know today, was once the proud German city of Königsberg, a place whose roots stretch deep into the 13th century. It was founded by the formidable Teutonic Knights, a powerful military order that shaped the destiny of this region for centuries to come. The Teutonic Knights chose the banks of the Pregel River to build their mighty fortress, laying the foundation for a city that would be defined by its strength and resilience. This was not just a settlement but a bastion designed to withstand the tides of war and the ambitions of rival powers. Over the centuries, Königsberg grew into a beacon of German influence in the Baltic region. As a vital member of the Hanseatic League, it thrived on trade and commerce, while its university and bustling marketplaces fostered a vibrant culture. The city became renowned as the home of the great philosopher Immanuel Kant, whose ideas would echo far beyond its walls. The city's identity as a fortress never faded. Its walls, towers, and defenses were continually upgraded, reflecting the latest advances in military engineering. Each generation left its mark, reinforcing Königsberg's reputation as an impregnable stronghold. As the proud capital of Prussia, Königsberg stood as the eastern guardian of the German lands. Its military parades and vigilant soldiers were a constant reminder of its strategic importance and the power it projected across the region. Through the centuries, as empires rose and fell, Königsberg remained a steadfast German stronghold. It endured countless wars and sieges, its people weathering hardship and destruction, yet always rebuilding and holding firm. After the devastation of World War I, Königsberg became the capital of East Prussia, now separated from the rest of Germany by the Polish corridor. This isolation only heightened its strategic and symbolic importance, making it a remote outpost of German identity. The people of Königsberg saw themselves as guardians of German culture, living on a distant shore surrounded by foreign lands. Their traditions, language, and festivals kept the spirit of Germany alive, even as the world around them changed. But this long and storied history came to a violent end during the Second World War. The city became a battleground, its streets echoing with the sounds of conflict and destruction. In 1944, relentless British bombing raids flattened the city center, reducing its ancient castle, majestic cathedral, and historic university to smoldering ruins. Centuries of heritage were lost in a matter of days. The following year, after a brutal and bloody siege, the Soviet Red Army stormed into the devastated city. Tanks rolled through the rubble, and the red flag was raised over what remained of Königsberg. The German era was over. The city's identity was about to be rewritten as a new Russian chapter began under Soviet rule. The people watched as their world was transformed before their eyes. Yet the fortress itself endured. Its ancient walls, once symbols of German power, now bore new insignia and served a new master. The guns that once defended Prussia now pointed in a different direction as Kaliningrad entered a new era, still a fortress but with a changed allegiance and a new place in history. The end of World War II dramatically redrew the map of Europe, shifting borders and altering the fate of millions. Centuries-old cities found themselves under new flags, and entire populations were uprooted as the victors of the war imposed their vision for the continent's future. At the Potsdam Conference in 1945, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin secured the historic German city of Königsberg for the Soviet Union. His motives were strategic. He wanted a warm water port on the Baltic Sea, and a buffer zone to protect Soviet borders from the west. The city's location was crucial for Soviet military and political ambitions in the region. Soon after, the city was renamed Kaliningrad, in honor of Bolshevik leader Mikhail Kalinin. This was part of a deliberate effort to erase its German heritage and integrate it fully into the Soviet identity, signaling a new era for the city and its people. German place names disappeared from maps, and the entire German population was expelled, forced to leave behind their homes and history. In their place, Soviet citizens from across the vast USSR arrived, bringing new languages, customs, and a different way of life. Kaliningrad was transformed into a closed military zone shrouded in secrecy and heavily fortified. It became one of the most militarized places on Earth, with restricted access for outsiders and constant surveillance. The Soviets rebuilt the city not as a cultural or economic hub, but as a massive military base. It became the headquarters for the powerful Baltic Fleet, with warships and military infrastructure dominating the landscape. Daily life in Kaliningrad was dominated by the presence of the military. Secrecy, surveillance, and a sense of isolation shaped the city's atmosphere, as residents lived under the watchful eyes of Soviet authorities. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Kaliningrad found itself cut off from the Russian mainland, surrounded by the newly independent nations of Lithuania and Poland. It became a Russian exclave, separated from the rest of the country by international borders. In the years that followed, Lithuania and Poland joined the European Union and NATO, further isolating Kaliningrad. Today, it remains a unique and strategic outpost of Russian power, surrounded on all sides by Western alliances, a relic of the Cold War in a rapidly changing Europe. Today, Kaliningrad stands as a Russian outpost deep inside NATO territory, separated from the rest of Russia by hundreds of miles. This small but heavily fortified region is wedged between Poland and Lithuania, making it a unique and highly strategic piece of land on the European map. Its geography gives Russia a powerful strategic advantage, allowing Moscow to project military power across the Baltic Sea and directly threaten key NATO allies. Kaliningrad's position means it can serve as both a shield and a sword for Russian interests in the region. In many ways, Kaliningrad is like a permanent Russian aircraft carrier, stationed just a few hundred miles from major European capitals like Berlin, Warsaw, and Stockholm. Its location allows Russia to rapidly deploy air and naval forces, keeping NATO on constant alert. As tensions with the West have grown in recent years, Moscow has poured significant military resources into the exclave. The region has become one of the most militarized zones in Europe, with new bases, advanced weaponry, and thousands of troops stationed there. Kaliningrad is now central to Russia's anti-access/area denial strategy, making it extremely costly and dangerous for NATO to operate nearby. The region acts as a barrier, complicating any potential NATO movement in the Baltic area. Advanced missile systems and layered air defenses create a protective bubble over large parts of Poland, Lithuania, and the Baltic Sea. These systems can target enemy aircraft, ships, and even ground forces, extending Russia's reach far beyond its borders. The presence of Russian weapons, including nuclear-capable missiles, so close to NATO borders is a constant reminder of Moscow's military reach and its willingness to defend its interests aggressively. Russia uses Kaliningrad not just for defense but also as a tool of intimidation, sending a clear message to the West: do not underestimate us, and be prepared for a strong response if provoked. The exclave is a geopolitical pressure point, a potential flashpoint for conflict where even a small incident could spiral into a larger crisis between Russia and NATO. The close proximity of Russian and NATO forces in and around Kaliningrad raises the risk of misunderstandings, accidents, or even unintended escalation, making the region one of Europe's most dangerous hotspots. Fighter jets and warships from both sides frequently shadow each other in tense cat-and-mouse games, increasing the danger of a direct confrontation that could have global consequences. In the end, Kaliningrad is more than just a piece of land. It is a sharp dagger pointed at NATO's eastern flank, a symbol of Russia's enduring power and a constant source of tension in the heart of Europe. Kaliningrad's threat lies in its arsenal. The exclave is packed with advanced Russian weapons. Iskander-M ballistic missiles capable of carrying nuclear or conventional warheads, reaching deep into NATO territory. Its air defenses, especially the S-400 system, challenge NATO's air superiority over Eastern Europe. The port of Baltiysk hosts the Baltic Fleet, with ships and submarines armed with Kaliber cruise missiles that can strike targets hundreds of miles away. This combination of land-based and sea-based missiles creates a multi-layered threat. On the ground, the 11th Army Corps includes tanks, infantry, and artillery, ready to defend or launch operations into neighboring NATO territory. The Suwalki Gap, a narrow corridor between Poland and Lithuania, is especially vulnerable. Kaliningrad's fortress is a strategic asset of immense value to Moscow. For years, NATO's main worry was defending the Baltic states from a Russian attack through the Suwalki Gap, the only land link between the Baltics and the rest of NATO. Military planners feared Russian forces from Kaliningrad could quickly seize this gap, cutting off the Baltics. But now, some strategists propose a bold alternative: neutralize Kaliningrad itself. The idea is a rapid, overwhelming NATO assault to seize the exclave before Russia can respond. Such an operation would rely on speed, surprise, and technological superiority, crippling Kaliningrad's defenses with cyber attacks and precision strikes. Ground forces would then move in, aiming to surround Russian troops and use Kaliningrad as a bargaining chip. It's a high-stakes gambit, fraught with immense danger. The idea of seizing Kaliningrad is tempting for military planners, but it risks nuclear escalation. Russia's doctrine allows nuclear use if the state's existence is threatened. An all-out NATO assault on Kaliningrad could be seen as such a threat. Russia's escalate to de-escalate strategy means it might use tactical nuclear weapons to halt a NATO advance. Even a limited nuclear strike would cross a line not seen since 1945, risking a full-scale nuclear war. Any plan to attack Kaliningrad must weigh strategic value against catastrophic risk. For most leaders, the answer is clear. The fortress is a nuclear tripwire. Kaliningrad is more than territory. It's a symbol of the deep divide between Russia and the West. For Russia, it's a hard-won prize and proof of its power. For NATO, it's a symbol of Russian aggression and a daily military threat. The enclave is a flashpoint, fueling mistrust and military buildup on both sides. Every move is seen as a provocation, creating a dangerous spiral of escalation. Once Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, the city stands at the crossroads of empires and at the heart of a new global struggle. Its fate will reflect the future of European security. The fortress on the Baltic holds a key to Europe's peace, or its peril.